I wrote my own eulogy. Today we're discussing the future, how we goal set, and how each of us are wired.
Hello and welcome to the To Be the Church podcast, where we discuss issues about being the church together. Truly be the church in today's culture. So I'm Andrew. We got a Thai guy over here to my right and Ben Hameen to my left. So
shirt's offensive.
What? Okay, what do we got here?
Beer.
Oh, he's got a beer shirt on. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You're definitely not.
Have you guys been there yet?
Then?
The 5440 Beer Lodge in Stevenson?
No.
I don't get out much.
Dude, check this out.
You went to that right when the restrictions were lifting and they were already lifted in Skamania County?
Well,
was that the one?
No. So that's backwoods, further up. But so 5440 is the Washougal spot.
Yeah.
I coached the owner's son in T-ball last summer. And I was at his
house. Did you hit him third so you get free stuff?
Yeah. I was at his house.
That's a good place to hit third, Ben.
I was at his house and for a birthday party, and he was like, "Hey, check out this pizza. It's what we're going to serve at our new location in Stevenson." And so they have this like wood fire pizza oven. Katie and I went up there for a date a few weeks ago. Very, very good. And yeah, I don't know. I'm pumped. You should drive out to Stevenson and check out the 5440 Beer Lodge. Their pizza is phenomenal.
We got people in our community group that live in Stevenson.
Wow.
That's quite a drive.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Yeah, dude. So we got some stuff, right? We got some stuff to handle. All right. One of you guys is going to say what it is. Wait, you wrote your eulogy, you said, Ty?
I did. Yeah.
Yesterday?
I wrote my eulogy yesterday.
Okay. So why did you do this?
So I read a book just recently about
urology.
Not about urology.
Urology? Okay, urology and eulogy kind of sound alike, but they're a little bit different.
He went to his urologist.
Oh.
I did?
No, he didn't. He said he read a book the other day.
I read a book.
Oh, okay.
And you heard urologist?
Are those headphones working all right?
You have an appointment later today?
So I read a book, and it's a book that just came out, and it's essentially like the first half is about like the four main characters in any story.
Okay.
There's the villain, who's obviously the bad guy, the victim, there's the hero, and then there's the guide. And the book it's a self-help book essentially, but it's essentially like how to like live as like a character who wants something. Okay. Who has some sort of agency and like is chasing after something, or how to be the guide, the experienced person who can help others along that same journey. Right. And then the back half of the book is essentially like a productivity plan to where, and it sounds really funny, which is why you were like, wait, what? But the first thing you do is you write your eulogy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so you essentially it's aspirational, and it's like, what do you want people to say about you when you die? And so you write that, and then based on that, you make a 10, a 5, and a 1 year plan, like based on how you're going to live, and from there you make goals and stuff like that. But
you were on a personal retreat, weren't you?
I was, yeah. And so I got away and I wrote about my death.
So you remember, dude? Boy, this is like 2013, maybe. We did a mentor group that was like it was me and like
Men of Life Point. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Awesome name. And we did that. We did one of our first exercises. We had to write like I don't know if we called it the eulogy, but it was like, it was basically.
I didn't remember that until you just said it. I could have saved myself a whole day's work.
Dude, could you find? I wonder if you have both of those.
I mean, I have.
I don't know if I could find mine,
but yeah,
that'd be funny, dude. Because that's like almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
you could go back to that and see how they compare.
Yeah,
and then see what you care about more now.
Yeah, my brother, actually, this is kind of random. He texted me just a couple days ago, and he's like, I found this funny. And what it was is it was a Facebook note that I had written 13 years ago on the day. And it was like 25 things about me from 13 years ago.
Oh, okay. We got everything we need. All right, go ahead. Let's go, Ty.
So he said, this made me laugh. And all I could write back was just, LOL. Like, I don't know what to say to this.
And just for context, LOL. Are you an LOL guy? You
Sometimes.
Use it? Yeah.
Depends, yeah.
I went for years. I mean, my first 15 years of texting and any digital communication, I refused to write LOL. I just do the haha, because LOL to me just seems so, I don't know. All right. And then about 4 years ago, I started using it.
All right. So
that's my story.
I'm not going to read all 25.
That's actually my eulogy.
I'm not going to read 25 of these because they're...
you are reading.
They're embarrassing.
No, you're reading them, dude. That's this podcast is called Tyler's Eulogy.
Right. This is from 13 years ago. as of a couple days ago. Number 1, I usually don't like these things. Apparently this was like a trend, like to do the 25 list or whatever.
I never did one,
but I had fun reading everyone else's. Number 2, I would much rather be without pants than without a shirt. Number 3, my wife is the hottest woman on the planet. Period.
There you go.
How's that guy?
Yeah.
Number 4, I'd rather hang out with my dog Constantine than 98% of my Facebook friends. Not you, of course.
How did Constantine's life end? Is Constantine still alive?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We gave him to some family when we moved here. He ran away, and somebody got him like 2 towns over. And they, like 4 years later, they took him to the vet. They chipped him, and they called me. And they were like, "Hey, we found your dog." And they had named him something else, and the family that we had given him to let the new family keep him. So,
wow. Okay.
Yep.
That's his eulogy.
All right.
I know you're editing this, dude, but I want the embarrassing stuff.
All right. I take Constantine on a minimum of 3 walks a day, regardless of the weather.
Good.
I sit in front of a computer for more than 10 hours a day. I did 13 years ago, apparently. This is a good one. It's likely that Katie and I will be living outside of America by September. We did not.
This is 13 years ago, so this is like 3 years before you got here, basically.
Yeah, we were planning on moving to Australia for at least for a year.
John Hill songs?
No, it was we actually going to live on a catamaran and like be trained, like a missions training thing for 6 months, and then go to like this other thing for 6 months.
This is pre-Molly.
We got pregnant. That's why we didn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Molly's his oldest.
A lot of people tell me I'm intimidating.
Yeah, I know her.
A lot of people tell me I'm intimidating, and I think that's hilarious.
Still are. Yeah.
I've been in 42 of our 50 states, I think. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Okay. I once canceled a concert so I could watch the TV show Lost.
Oh, man.
One time, my friend Josh and I watched, and I literally wrote this, watched Jack Butt. Haha. Okay. And then went outside and tried to skateboard. I spent a few hours at the doctor that day. I kept a fortune from a fortune cookie in my wallet for 2 years waiting to cash it in. I have a John Mayer calendar on my wall. My family is incredible. This is getting less interesting as we're going. I know that.
And more embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. I was told I'd never walk, and then 15 years later, I was told I would never run.
Good story.
I hope to be making a sustainable living as a writer before I turn 30.
Oh, nice.
Bummer. My favorite food is buffalo wings. I've had them for lunch and dinner in the same day more than I can count once I even ate them for breakfast. I'm currently wearing diamond earrings. I'm not sure if I want to tour with music anymore. The thought of having children scares the crap out of me. Still true.
How much longer till you got pregnant?
13 years ago, been about a year.
Okay.
Yep. I've had the same best friend since kindergarten. We hang out together with our wives now, and that's weird. I have a deathly fear of white sauces, ranch, blue cheese, mayo. It doesn't matter. If it touches me, there's a good chance I'll vomit on the spot.
Still?
Is that still true?
That happened. That changed when I had kids because I had to learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, especially the ranch, right?
But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's the 25 things about me. How did we get here? I did not remember.
Your eulogy, and your brother sent you the thing. Yeah.
So anyway.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yes.
Because you were about 3 years pre-PNW.
Yes.
And you were working at a church.
Yep.
And 10 hours a day in front of a computer.
Yeah.
Doing music and the finances of the church.
Yeah.
Was your dad still there at the time?
Yep, he would have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would have left. So, dude, when you look back at that, like, screenshot in time, as it were, that moment in time, did you know at that time? Well, you obviously didn't know at that time that you'd be pregnant within a year. And then did you know at that time that your dad would be leaving the church and moving?
No, we didn't know that until Molly was born.
Okay.
And so, no, yeah. Like, so... No,
so just think about the headspace that you were in when you're filling that out and how much your life changed like in the next 18 months, like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild.
I think about that kind of stuff a lot. Like where, you know, you come to the end, like at the end of the year, you know, you're always kind of reflecting on the year and then maybe you're setting some goals for the new year. And then my birthday is in January. So it's like, it's always like the end of another year. Well, I came here in December of a year and then like my birthday is in January. So like within 5 weeks of each other, I have like my work anniversary here at the church, the end of the year, and then I have like my birthday. Like that all happens at once. So I'm always in that like reflective mode of where was I 5 years ago or what, you know, and I journal a lot. So I'll look back at years before and it blows my mind because I mean, we're obviously in February now. So we, you know, I just went through that period of another another cycle of it. And it always blows my mind, like the things that you don't know are going to happen in that coming year. Like about 6 weeks ago at the beginning of this year, I started a new yearly journal, and I look back at my journals going back to like 2016, and I read the first entry of all like 5 or 6 of those years leading up to, this year. And it just blows my mind. The type of stuff that I'm saying in there, the type of stuff that I had no idea was like a month or 2 out, or what the end of that year would mean, like what type of transitions would take place, what would happen to the church, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So 2 things on that. One thing I'm okay with, one thing I'm not okay with. I'm okay with like, and just in my own headspace, I'm okay with like the unexpected happening and like life changing drastically. And it's like, yeah, we didn't know that we were going to, uproot. We thought we were going to go to Australia, but like we ended up having a child, a couple years later moving out here. I'm cool with that stuff. What like bothers me to no end is when nothing like that has happened, and I look at like what I hope to have accomplished, and I haven't. It like it's
like making a living writing by 30.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but no, I mean like it's like thinking through like, oh man, I didn't know where life would take me. Like that part of it's like totally cool. It's like, but I do the same thing. I talked in staff meeting at one point about December 31st being a really important day for me specifically. It's the day that I'm like processing the last year. I'm usually at my in-laws house for post Christmas. Haven't been the last couple of years, but like was previously. And so it's like I'm at somewhere that has a lot of historic ties to me as well. I've been going to that house for 15, 16, 17 years, all this stuff. And like what bothers me is like whenever on January 1 I've said this year I really want to blank, and then December 31 hits and I haven't done it. And it's not because life has been upended, it's because I just didn't do it. And so like a lot of this like productivity stuff, a lot of like the idea of even like writing your eulogy and stuff like that is for that purpose. Does that make sense?
To reverse engineer it.
Yeah, to reverse engineer, knowing that like God is sovereign. What are you looking at me like that?
Tell us about your face, Ben. I'm looking over at your face and I'm going, what's that face?
I'm thinking of you guys. You guys are interesting.
Thank you.
Because on the disc profile, you guys are similar, right? High D.
Yeah, high D. Yep.
Because I don't see, and because I think I'm different. And
you got more S, right?
Me?
Than me. Yeah,
he's
probably.
full of S.
And I got more I. Yeah.
So what?
I said I'm full of S.
He's got a lot of S. So am I.
Tons, man. There's S everywhere.
I just don't find myself looking back or looking ahead as you guys just described.
Okay.
Like at the end of a year, I don't really reflect on the previous year.
Really?
I mean, I'm more worried about like, I don't know, what's going on this week, what I'm dreading tonight, how I'm going to make it one more day. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I don't, yeah.
Dude, that's funny because
I don't have like, here's what I hope in 5 years. I'm just like day by day, week by week,
dude,
just keep doing it.
My wife is a very similar disc profile to you. And a game I like to play is I'll say a year and then I'll like spout off how old each kid will be. And then I'll say, what do you want life to look like? And she's like, I hate this game. Like, she's like, I just want to live for today. Like, I just like want to live in the moment. I don't want my kid to be 19. I want her to be 11. Like,
my wife's similar to that too.
And I'm all about that game. Like, I'm like, dude, like that's what I did yesterday is I sat down on the 10-year, 5-year, 1-year plan. I put the age of all my kids at the top. Like like that's how old they're going to be. What do I want life to look like?
What do you want their batting average to be?
Yeah.
How many points per game?
They're going to bat third because that's the best.
They'll bat
we
third,
all know.
Yeah.
No, because even like we just did the annual reports for both campuses, and like it's hard for me I'm glad we have like the ally and like the goal setting, because it's hard for me to think, okay, this last 12 months, I don't know, it all blurs together, my first 3 years. And, but that kind of helps me think, okay, what has happened? But I don't know. I'm 34. I'm not thinking what life's like at 44. I don't know. I hope I'm here doing this with you guys. And the Niners have won a few Super Bowls. That's all I really care about.
I'm hoping for 6 or 7 by then, yeah.
There is a Chiefs part of my eulogy, but
of course there is.
Okay.
Oh,
not really.
Just kidding. Of course there's not. So any highlights to that eulogy, or is that too? It just hits a little too close to home because it's so fresh.
The eulogy.
The eulogy.
It definitely. Okay, so here's one thing. I was meeting with one of our members here a couple months ago, and he has one child, and that child is 2 years old, 2 or 3. And he said to me, he was like, I know that that my kid like is going to do much greater things than me. And what he was saying in that moment was like, it's far more. He was saying like it's far more important for me to invest in him than any of my own projects. Is in like that raising of kids, and I like, or maybe even though it was more important, it's like more important that my kid, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, in the moment, I was just like, oh, I've never had that thought. Like
I want to be so much better than my kids.
No, it's not that. It's just like, oh, like I've, parenting is like one of the things I do. And like, I want my kids to grow up and be happy and healthy and whatever. But I'm far more worried about my projects, And I think that one thing doing this eulogy did, it was like, oh, one day I'm just going to be gone. What's going to live on? Yeah. And what's going to live on is the lessons I taught my kids, how I showed them how to be a spouse, how I showed my girls a husband should act, how I show my boys to act as husband, stuff like that. And so that's one thing that it definitely brought out was just like, oh, that there's an end date here. I don't know when it is. Hopefully it's a while. But like when that end date comes, like, is it really going to matter that I made a sustainable living as a writer by 30, or whatever? Or is it, that part of it was like pretty interesting. And then, I have a dream of someday having on my property a creative studio space like that. Like the final dream would be that creative studio space that I have on my property is a place where creatives can come to create stories.
A collective.
No.
A collective for a cadre.
It will not be a commune, but like an Airbnb style thing where it's like, oh, a writer could come and write there for a week.
Maybe a dispensary, you could call it.
Maybe a pastor could come and write their dissertation there? Or not?
That would be great. Mm-hmm. But I'm years away from having that property. And so it was like, but I was like, like it might be cool to like start the aspirational side of that. Like it could start as like, this is my desk in my bedroom and I'm calling it the lake house because the lake house is like my grandpa's lake house was where all of my best ideas came. Like I'd go there in the summer and all this stuff. So like my desk is the lake house. At some point soon, hopefully in the next like year or two, the lake house will become a shed in my backyard. That like a 12 by 10 finished like studio space for me. At some point we're going to buy property. And when we buy property,
a second property or primary property?
It'll be our primary property.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it'll be moving to a more spacious. Yeah.
Preferably without selling the current one, but we'll see.
There it is.
But regardless, it's like,
can we have your current house?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Sweet.
Would love it.
So
move up to where the rich people are.
But what it did, it was no longer like, oh, that's something I'm going to do in 9 years, or 10 years. It's like, oh, I'm going to take steps toward that, both like savings wise and like cultivating that space, even when I can't make what I truly want eventually. So, yeah. Anyway, it was an interesting experience.
Here's a question,
and if I die soon, you guys can just use what I wrote.
Yeah. Make sure.
It's all going to be false.
Can you Slack that to me so I have the PDF?
You're going to find me just at your lake house when it's still just your desk, just sitting there in your house. You said I could come to your lake house.
Creating. Just creating things. Yeah.
When you guys look at the future, are you more fearful or hopeful?
Hopeful.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
The same. Yeah. I was going to say, over the last couple of weeks being super sick, I was living in the moment and hating all of things. But no, totally hopeful. Yeah.
Dude, the future of me is so much better than the current me.
What about you, Ben? Fearful or hopeful?
Fearful. Yeah.
Are you a dispensational premillennialist or eschatology joke?
Historic premillennial.
Historic, yeah.
We'll live through the tribulation.
Progressive premillennial. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I just think that's how I'm wired.
Yeah.
More fearful, but we don't have to get super deep. This has been a pretty light podcast, so
well, there it is.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day we'll read our eulogies on here. Like, men of To Be the Church. We'll do a little discipleship group like we did 9 years ago. So
I like it.
We should have Ty not on the next episode, and we read it and be like, "What the heck? What happened to Ty? Where'd he go?"
He gave us this to read. But
Daddy, friend, husband.
All right. Well, we didn't answer any questions this week, but we might have raised some. So podcast at tobeTheChurch.com is the best place to send those if you have them. You can hit us up on social media as well at tobeTheChurch. If you're listening on your podcast app, that's great. But we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/tobeTheChurch. When Andrew said earlier, Ben, why does your face look like that? You can actually watch on YouTube and see what his face looked like. But until next Friday, have a great week. See you later.